listen, I lived on an estate, bro, going to Dulwich College. You're talking that big space in the back of off the back of the block, that big communal. I'm telling people, yeah, my garden, I was playing in the garden. Like, they didn't even know where I lived. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the concept of even bringing someone to my house for like on a weekend or nothing was non-existent. It couldn't happen. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to their houses and we're playing football in man's bedroom. Like, this was different levels completely everywhere. And that's what made me realise, like, wow, out here, there's a lot to grab. Do you see what I'm saying?
So you're on Alfie, there's a song called Take Me Back.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do through the interview is that we're going to take people back to actually who Gordon is.
Okay.
You were raised initially, was it in Clapham?
Yeah, on Pointers Estate initially, and then I moved to New Park Road, like Clapham, Brixton Hill, straight on the intersection, like, yeah, kind of Brixton Hill kind of way, and on Clapham Park Estate, and then moved to Fort Neath when I was maybe 14, 13, something like that, and then now I live in the sticks, so far away.
But in Ponders, I remember, I don't know, was it Ponders? One of the estates said that everything seemed small, like everything seemed like a circle, like you're not supposed to get out of it. Like, explain to us that. I mean, to be honest with you, I liked the concept of Pointers Garden because it was a circle. So it felt very communal and a big community. Like, we used to play out. It was like a fun estate to live on. Everybody knew each other. Like, you'd all grown up together. So I enjoyed living there. Do you see what I'm saying? But then, like, as I say, talking about estates and stuff, I think Tiny said it best when he said, high rises can block your horizon. And I can't remember what song he said it on, but I mean, for me, that was like, that's what it feels like sometimes growing up on an estate. Like, I used to hang around on an estate called Kingswood in like Gypsy Hill when I was a bit older, and they had like everything on the estate. So it was like, there was no need to leave. So you had a laundrette, all the food shops, corner shop, everything there, bookies. Like, there was literally no need for anyone to leave, and it just felt a bit like creating like self-contained ghettos, so you don't see the outside world. And I think seeing the outside world is the only thing that allows you to know it exists and that there's things out there that you can do other than what you're like seemingly designed for, let's say. And that's why, it's just a really odd song for me to like, but you know, the Nico and Vince song, Am I Wrong? And like, I mean, the melody and the whole song is a really good song. It's a great pop song, but I mean, like, lyrically, what they're saying in the song is really important. Like, they said, am I wrong for thinking that we could be something like better than we are? Do you see what I'm saying? So I think, yeah, like, an estate sometimes can block those thoughts or give you the inspiration to know that there is better. Because on the edge of my estate were massive houses, and I always knew that that's where it was at. So I was always trying to get out. So the estate, you were the only boy in the family.
Yeah.
And you're the eldest in the family. Yeah,
I mean, I have a brother on my dad's side in Nigeria and 2 sisters, but yeah, I'm the oldest here. I'm the oldest anyway, but I'm definitely the oldest here, and I had 3 sisters growing up.
Yeah, I mean, this may be a bit random, but you never really talk much about your dad in even any of your lyrics. Is there a particular reason for that?
Not really, you know, like, not even, we're cool, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think it's one of those things where, like, obviously we didn't grow up together, but as men, we're men about the situation, do you see what I'm saying? And there's no, that's my dad at the end of the day. Like, that's just as simple as that, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just that, yeah, he was in Nigeria and I was here, and then that's about it, you see what I'm saying? You can't really see each other every weekend when there's that much distance between the two.
I mean, the reason I bring it up is because, like, you're always with your daughter.
Yeah.
You know, she's actually here now. People can't see her, but she's here now. But,
yeah.
You know, I mean, obviously, a lot of times fathers don't spend time with their daughters. I mean, there's obviously has to be a conscious effort where you are visibly here, you're taking her out to the parks, you're showing her different parts of life. Explain to me about also your relationship with London.
I think, yeah, maybe because I wasn't with my dad that much. I think maybe maybe I even like try and overcompensate. Maybe I mean, one of the things, for example, which is really weird, is that I didn't want a boy when like I found out the mother of my child was pregnant. I didn't want a boy, like, because to be honest with you, I didn't really know what to do with one. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it was, I wouldn't know what, like, being raised by my mum. I had a stepdad as well. I had a stepdad, sorry, and sisters and that. It's easier for me to relate to women. So I think with me, it's like the whole concept of like everyone else, oh man, I'll get my son. That was never really my vision. Do you see what I'm saying? I just wouldn't know what to really do. Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe in that way, stuff like my dad maybe kind of might have skewed my perspective a little bit. But yeah, I think it's important for me to be there as much as I can. And that doesn't still, like, I'm still not like the greatest dad in the world. I would still love to spend way more time with her. It's just that in the world we live in, we've got money to make and things to do, and vices even. Do you see what I'm saying? Even stupid things, like even when you spend time with a random female, you know that that's time.
Away from the door.
Yeah, even though it's in the evening, so she was asleep. But
and I'll tell you what's interesting, because when we went to the estate,
yeah.
Maybe it was last year we went to the estate, and we went actually to your door.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we were looking over the portion of where you grew up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember, I think you were like, alluding to the fact that, you know, like you said before, you always knew you wanted more.
Yeah.
And a lot of people they see the flashy side now, but they don't get from that environment bored the desire to actually want more for oneself.
Yeah.
Can you take us a bit through that?
It's like that. I think it's my mum, you know. Like, I tell people honestly, my mum's probably the most incredible. Yeah, she's the most incredible woman I've come across. You know what I'm saying? Her tenacity and drive and everything that makes her up, I think, just instilled in us that we had so much more to achieve and do than anybody else around us. And I think I've just maintained that mentality. My mum still works even harder than me. Like, I can't even lie. Like, so it was her, and I think she always knew this isn't where she was ending up. Like, at the end of the day, she came from Nigeria, and she made it in the UK as a single parent for a long time, with 3 kids for most of the time, and then 4 eventually. Yeah, it was just her drive. I mean, as a child, I used to see her doing course after course, studying from home while working and all the rest of it. And it's like, there were some points when I didn't even get to see her much because she had to work, so we just lived with a nanny, do you know what I'm saying, most of the time. And then like when she's working and you're working literally to end up paying a nanny. So just knowing all of these things, yeah, it was like, that's come on man, like if she can do it, and you have to be honest, like this is really and truly, you're talking about an immigrant. That's the be all and end all. Like, this is first generation. There's no one before her here. She came here and made it on her own. So, boy, that's the best example I could have.
And with that, obviously, you got into a prestigious school, which I didn't get into. I felt that. But you got there. That wouldn't have been easy. What actually made you or your mum decide to actually try and put you forward for like Dulwich College? Because like you're saying, you're an immigrant. Your mum would have been an immigrant. Sometimes they don't even know what is the best school. So what was the whole purpose of actually trying to push you towards Dulwich College?
I think my mum just knew what she was doing. I think I likened her maybe to Serena and Venus Williams' dad. Like, he just knew, like, she just raised, that's just what she does. Like, she's here to raise winners, you know what I'm saying? My sister's a lawyer. My other sister studied maths and finance. My other sister studied town planning. Like, it's like, that's just what she does. So, in that sense, she pushed me. And I pushed myself. I would see her work until God knows what hours in the morning. So, for me to get to stay up at night, I used to basically have to do work. Like, it wasn't, stay up and watch TV. If you want to stay up and feel like a grown-up, then do your work. Do you know what I'm saying? And as I said, I would steal books from school. I'd be doing extra homework all the time. And she was a disciplinarian, and education was everything. In our house, education was everything. That's what you cry about when she puts you in front of the living room, in front of everyone, and asks you to spell or read, and then you start stuttering and looking crazy. You don't want that feeling again. So when you feel that pain of feeling like an idiot, you'll never let that happen again. And that was kind of what she was. Yeah, man. She was an educator, man. Like, simple as that. She was a proper Nigerian mum. What can I say? And then that led me to then basically exceed the maximum marks I could get in my SATs. And I think you could go up to like level 5 or something, and I got like level 6, and then I did like level 7 exams or something. So basically, and another teacher of mine, a really important teacher, and I'm friends with her daughter till today. She's a blogger, her name's Christina Mbakwe. So her mum taught me in one of my earlier years, and I was in a mad school. Like I went to Bonneville in Clapham off Abbeville Road. So like everyone there was mad. I remember like we must have been in year 3 or 4, and we like made a gang. Like we knew about the 28s. We looked up to the 28s and stuff like that. We knew all their names. So we started our own little gang in school. I remember like crazy stuff like everyone bringing a knife into school and stupid things like that. Like this is in primary school. And Miss Mbakwe basically kind of saved me from hanging around with the wrong crowd, let's say. And highlighting the fact to the teachers, other teachers, to understand that I had great potential, and not to basically just see me as another black wayward kid in the school. And that's how, like in a maddest way, that's how a lot of the teachers saw us at that time. So it was her and my mum became friends. Obviously they were both Nigerian, and they just worked together and all the rest of it to get me where I needed to be. And then so I did the entrance exams, ended up with a scholarship. But then the rest is history. Like going to those schools there was the biggest eye opener. That's when I saw money for the first time in my life.
Was that money in terms of seeing what people are driving into school with and realizing that you may be getting a bus? Or
just no, bro. Listen, I lived on an estate, bro, going to Dulwich College. You're talking that big space in the back of the block, that big communal. I'm telling people, my garden, I was playing in the garden. Like, they didn't even know where I lived. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the concept of even bringing someone to my house for like on a weekend or nothing was non-existent. It couldn't happen. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm going to their houses and we're playing football in man's bedroom. Like, this was different levels completely everywhere. And that's what made me realize, like, wow, out here, there's a lot to grab. Do you see what I'm saying?
But then when you go from one extreme to the other, when you get home, how did you feel once you get into your house? Was it like, okay, I need to get out, or I need to do something, and start devising a plan how actually I'm going to have what my peers have already got established for themselves?
It wasn't as contrived as that. It was just more like, there's a path to walk. There's an easy path, there's a few of them, and there's some real shit ones. Avoid the shit ones as much as possible. And it didn't make me any less proud of where I lived or anything of the sort. You see what I'm saying? It was just more a case of, okay, we need to do even better than that. I mean, eventually, my mum, we moved out of there, and then we lived in a house in Fulton Heath. Obviously, not like the greatest area in the world, but it was still better than New Park Road on the top floor. Do you see what I'm saying?
But then people would have obviously seen from your uniform that you're different from what have been maybe the local uniforms around. I mean, did you then feel already knowing that once you moved to this new situation, that within that setting, people now look at you as the odd one out sometimes?
I was the odd one out. I was always the odd one out. There was only like 5, me, Elisha, maybe 5, 6 black boys in the whole year. So we were the odd ones out. I didn't know to play rugby. I'm playing it like American football because that's what I've seen on TV. Never been on a running track before. Can't swim because we ain't had no swimming pools.
Did you play cricket?
I was just rubbish. I was born to be rubbish at cricket. I was rubbish. That ball was way too hard and way too dangerous. Like this, all of that stuff. Hockey. Never heard of these sports before. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this was brand new. This was crazy. So I was definitely always the odd one out. never done French before. Everyone's been doing French for God knows how long.
Since they're in
Yeah,
toddlers.
Latin. I've never heard of this language, and then you're telling me this is what we're learning. I'm like, who speaks this? Then they tell you that no one speaks it, and you're like, well, what's the point?
So you're already exhibiting critical thinking at that age.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you had to be even in that environment in the first place.
In that environment, I think there was a point where you had to show people that you weren't going to be bullied.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what brought that about, and why did you feel so willing to defend yourself? Because in certain situations, people cave in and just bow down to the bully.
I mean, it's simply because, I mean, obviously coming from a normal primary school, we were always kind of taught, really, not taught, but violence was our method of communication in times of need. When it got like that, that's what we did. We had fights. Do you see what I'm saying? So it was more natural to solve a situation like that. So when I first went to school, that was how I dealt with things. And then me dealing with things like that, instead of actually giving me respect in this new school, it actually put me at the bottom of the pile. Like, people just didn't like it. They were like, nah. Like, I remember punching someone in the face and the whole class stopped talking to me. Like, I was thinking, what is wrong with these kids, man? Like, and then I realized basically violence wasn't really the answer. But then when like the older guys were trying to do the whole public schoolboy bully hierarchy stuff, I wasn't really on all of that. So when I'm defending people in our year, that's when they were cool with me doing the violence thing. But over time, you just realise that it's just not the answer at all.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously from there you would have done well. You did well obviously in your exams.
Yeah.
And I think the period of when someone goes to college, I mean, you would stay for sixth form?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
University.
Yeah.
This is the time when you're now out of that system and you're going into self-teaching, self-learning.
Yeah.
How was the university experience for you?
It was crazy because obviously it was really strict at school, and then now no one can't tell you anything. I'm 18, driving. I'm the man in my ends for whatever reason. Do you understand what I'm saying? And you discover girls properly. Like, a lot changed. Do you know what I'm saying? I kind of felt like I just went a bit left in the sense of where my head was at in terms of studying. I definitely know I wasn't as interested anymore, and I definitely did the bare minimum at uni in terms of attendance, and because I was smart, it was kind of like, well, just where's the notes? Just give me the notes. When's the exam? Let's do this. And I wish I did it properly. I didn't really enjoy and experience it properly. I dropped my little sister to uni the other day, and I saw she was on campus. I didn't stay on campus and things like that. And I looked at her, I was like, oh man, I wish I could go to uni again and do it like this. Do you see what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And I think the ironic thing is that, you know, when it came to graduation,
Yeah, I didn't even go, man. I didn't even bother. Like, I was like, right, where's the piece of paper? I got it, put it down. I don't need the picture with the dress on. Like, that was my mentality at the time.
But more so because you knew that although for most people that would have been a great mark to get, you knew that somewhere down the line, because you had different interests at that time, that if I haven't reached my potential in this situation, there's no point in me picking it up. I mean, most people wouldn't think like that. They'll think like, you know, a grade that was quite high was good. Yeah,
because I think a lot of them, it was the whole education is literally, honestly, the best thing for you and all the rest of it. It definitely is. But the conveyor belt part of it isn't good, you know, like the whole, okay, so you do this in your second year, you're going to try and get a placement, then you try and do this, and then you just get a job, and then you just kind of live your life, and then you just plod along. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, they're not plodding along, 100, 200 grand a year, whatever, like, they're not plodding along. But for me, that would feel like plodding along. Do you see what I'm saying? Especially for what I want to do in the long run with my life. Do you see what I'm saying? And I just wanted more, man. Like, and I was willing to take the risk, let's say, of not just jumping on the conveyor belt.